For more than 3 decades, The Simpsons has entertained millions with its hilarious stories and unforgettable characters. But somewhere along the way, something strange happened. People stopped watching the show just for the laughs. Instead, they started searching old episodes for clues about the future. From world leaders and billion-dollar business deals to technology that didn't even exist at the time, the animated series has built an almost unbelievable reputation for predicting real-life events years before they happened. Now, with the 2026 FIFA World Cup capturing the attention of fans around the globe, an old Simpsons scene has returned to the spotlight. And once again, people are asking the same question. Did the writers accidentally predict another major event? Or is this simply one of the greatest coincidences in television history? Let's find out. It all starts with a scene that originally aired back in 1997. At first glance, it seemed completely forgettable. The Simpson family is watching television when a commercial suddenly announces a soccer match unlike any other. The game isn't for a championship or a trophy. It's supposedly being played to decide which country is the greatest nation on Earth. Then the teams appear on screen. Mexico versus Portugal. Even in 1997, it sounded like an oddly specific matchup. Most fans would never have guessed those two countries would become the center of one of the internet's biggest sports theories nearly 30 years later. For years, the clip was nothing more than a funny joke. Then, the 2022 World Cup arrived. Both Mexico and Portugal qualified for the tournament, and social media exploded with theories. Fans became convinced the Simpsons prediction was finally about to come true. Portugal still had Cristiano Ronaldo chasing the one trophy missing from his legendary career, while Mexico looked ready to make another deep run. But reality had other plans. Mexico failed to escape the group stage, Portugal fell short of the final, and the theory quickly faded away. Most people dismissed it. Others weren't so sure. After all, the episode never mentioned 2022. It never showed a date. It simply featured Mexico and Portugal meeting in a match that seemed incredibly important. As long as that game hadn't happened, believers argued, the prediction was still alive. Then came the 2026 World Cup. This time, the circumstances were completely different. Mexico wasn't just another team competing in the tournament. It was one of the host nations. Playing in front of passionate home crowds instantly changed the conversation. Add the tournament's new 48-team format, which created more possible paths to the final, and suddenly a Mexico versus Portugal championship didn't seem quite as impossible. Every Mexican victory added fuel to the theory. For decades, Mexican fans had watched their national team repeatedly fall in the round of 16, turning that stage into a painful symbol of missed opportunities. After the disappointment of 2022, supporters hoped that playing on home soil could finally change their country's World Cup history. Portugal carried a different kind of pressure. Almost every storyline surrounded one man, Cristiano Ronaldo. At 41 years old, he had already won almost everything football had to offer: league titles, Champions League trophies, European championships, international scoring records. Only one prize continued to escape him: the FIFA World Cup. If Portugal reached the final, it wouldn't just be another match. It would be the final chapter of one of football's greatest careers. And if that final happened to be against Mexico, the internet would completely lose its mind. An old cartoon joke from 1997 would instantly become one of the most talked about predictions in sports history. But there's another reason this episode continues to disturb fans. Because in the Simpsons version of the match, things don't end with celebration. They end in chaos. Instead of a dramatic trophy lift, the stadium descends into arguments, confusion, and unrest. The football becomes almost secondary as the atmosphere spirals out of control. Whether that's pure fiction or another eerie coincidence remains to be seen. But if history has taught Simpsons fans anything, it's never to ignore the details. The Mexico versus Portugal theory isn't the only reason people believe The Simpsons has an uncanny ability to predict the future. Some of the show's most famous predictions have already become reality. One of the biggest examples came in the year 2000. In an episode where Lisa Simpson becomes president of the United States, she casually mentions inheriting a financial crisis from President Trump. At the time, it sounded ridiculous. Donald Trump was famous as a businessman and television personality, not a politician. Most viewers assumed it was just another over-the-top Simpsons joke. 16 years later, he was elected the 45th President of the United States. Almost overnight, that forgotten scene went viral, becoming one of the show's most talked about moments and convincing millions that maybe The Simpsons wasn't just getting lucky. Football fans point to another prediction that feels just as strange. Years before the 2014 FIFA World Cup, the show featured Germany defeating Brazil in a major tournament. The score in the cartoon wasn't exact, but the matchup itself became reality. Then came one of the most shocking nights in football history. Playing at home in front of millions of fans, Brazil suffered an unbelievable 7-1 defeat to Germany in the World Cup semifinals. It wasn't simply a loss, it was a national heartbreak that people still talk about today. The similarities between fiction and reality were enough to send fans searching for even more hidden predictions. And they didn't have to look very far. Back in 1998, The Simpsons slipped in what looked like a harmless background joke. A sign outside a movie studio showed 20th Century Fox as a division of Walt Disney Company. Nobody thought much of it. At the time, Disney buying Fox sounded impossible. But in 2019, Disney completed its massive acquisition of major Fox Entertainment assets in a deal worth more than $70 billion. What had once been a throwaway joke suddenly looked incredibly accurate. Not every prediction involves politics or billion-dollar companies. Sometimes it's the smaller details that leave people scratching their heads. In 2023, the world watched as the Ocean Gate submersible disappeared during a dive to the Titanic wreck. As the search dominated headlines, fans quickly remembered an old Simpsons episode where Homer becomes trapped inside a submersible during a dangerous underwater expedition. The two stories weren't identical, and the real-life tragedy ended far more sadly. Still, the similarities were enough to reignite debates about whether the show somehow keeps getting these moments right. Then there's one of the oldest examples of all. The famous three-eyed fish known as Blinky. For years, it was simply a joke about pollution near Springfield's nuclear power plant. But in 2011, photographs of a real fish with what appeared to be three eyes surfaced after it was reportedly discovered near a nuclear facility in Argentina. Once again, people couldn't help comparing reality to the cartoon. Of course, many experts argue there's nothing supernatural happening here. After more than 3 decades and hundreds of episodes, The Simpsons has told thousands of stories about politics, sports, technology, celebrities, and everyday life. Given enough time, some ideas are bound to resemble real events. Others believe the show's writers are simply incredibly observant. They pay close attention to trends, human behavior, and the direction the world is heading. Sometimes those educated guesses happen to age remarkably well. And maybe that's the real secret behind the show's incredible reputation. Not time travel, not hidden knowledge, just brilliant writers with an uncanny ability to imagine possibilities long before everyone else. Still, every time another coincidence appears, the debate starts all over again. Was it another lucky guess? Or was it yet another prediction hiding in plain sight? Whatever the answer may be, one thing is certain. The next time a strange event makes headlines, millions of people will probably do the same thing they've done for years. They'll go back and check if The Simpsons somehow saw it coming first. So, what do you think? Are these predictions nothing more than incredible coincidences? Or do you believe The Simpsons has an almost unbelievable track record of predicting the future? If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below with your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.